Revealing the truth, one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Truth Experience. How are you? This is Wayne S. Pierce. It is the 8th of May, 2017. I am live right here. How you doing? You know, when you take a nap and you wake up, you're going, what? Wait, what? What am I supposed to? Oh, that's what, Yeah, it's one of those. So what do we got? What do we got, folks? We got France that just took a nosedive. Migrants celebrate results of French election, and right underneath of that it says R.I.P., rest in peace, France, 486 to 2017 A.D. Obvious satire. In President-elect Macron's acceptance speech, he congratulates the winners of the election, and it's not the natives of France. So, when you start out something like that, when you start out with rest in peace, France, then something's definitely wrong. But let me go on because everybody knows, everybody knows what's going on there in France. Roger Stone is ready to drop the names of the specific people within the Trump administration that are helping the globalists push their agenda. That's going on American Liberty, the Truth Experience on Facebook. Lot to talk about tonight. I was debating whether or not to do 2 hours. I think I'll just go an hour because, I want to. That's pretty much it. Tech giants attempting to destroy InfoWars, Google, Facebook, and MSM are working to silence independent journalism. This is exactly what's going on, folks. You cannot avoid it. You should not avoid it, because if these tech giants are doing this to an independent alternative media organization, they can definitely do it to you. That's on the Truth Experience on Facebook. It's interesting, folks. It's interesting in the sense that we live in a global community, but in specific areas, it's not so happy. People are not so happy. So when you look around, you need to really, and I say this a lot, pay attention to what's going on. But you do. Seattle Mayor Ed Murray proposes first ever brazenly specific tax on rich white people, because rich white people tend to drink more diet beverages. That's something that's happening in Seattle, Washington, but Washington is, they're holding hands with Nevada, in the sense that they're holding hands with Nevada in the sense that they've become a communist nation. But Nevada and Washington are fascist getting ready to just, jump into the pit to become California, which is a communist country now. This is from Tom Tillerson, BizPark Review, the city of Seattle. Where else, right? Seattle Mayor Ed Murray is looking to add what may be the first ever tax on white people in the United States. Murray proposed a soda tax on sugary beverages, with the windfall going to help, quote, support various programs aimed at reducing disparity between white students and black students and Latino students, unquote, the Seattle Times reported. This definitely is going on The Truth Experience on Facebook. I want to ask, because I don't know. I want to ask. What do you think about people who will not accept the truth? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I want to know, what do you think about people who can't wrap their minds around, can't literally hold on to or even accept the truth? Another question I have, and I noticed this before coming on air tonight, and that is Facebook isn't working in our area for some reason. So, is it working for you? Because right now, when I go to Facebook, now I can share stories on Facebook, which is really strange, but I can't go to Facebook. Oh, yeah, I can. There it is. Before I came on tonight, it was giving me this error message. I want to give you an update of what's happening with our political prisoners down in Pahrump, Nevada. Deb Jordan of Guerrilla Media Network says that there's an update. The guard who targeted Ammon Bundy was sent home the next day and has not returned. So hopefully that's going to get better. Political prisoners. Pete Santilli of the Guerrilla Media Network was captured. I'm going to say that was captured by the federal government and thrown into prison for doing his job, which was an independent media personality, independent journalist. And if you go to Deb Jordan on Facebook, you can get more updates. Because I really think that there are certain people in our state government, and specifically in our federal government, who target certain people and organizations and what they do and why they target them is to literally to shut them up. That's the thing. They literally want to shut down other people that disagree with them. Okay? That's the thing. Now, a lot of people have literally they've literally taken the these people that are targeting other people, they've literally taken and spent a lot of their time and effort to undermine the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security in the nation of the United States of America. Okay? This is something I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to get into whole detail about a lot of things because I don't have that much time, but that's for a different and a future podcast. But literally, these people that are out there trying to shut you and I down, let me just bottom line it for you. These people that want to try to shut down free speech, want to try to shut down your free press, want to try to shut down your freedom of expression, these people are bullies. And this goes with anybody else in another country coming here trying to tell us that we have to cater to them. They're bullies. They're bullies. They're bullies. And we, the people of the United States, don't take too kindly to bullies. Okay? And I'm talking specifically Washington, D.C. The Las Vegas Blue Wall of Silence. Not so invisible after first Bundy trial. Did prosecutors hide Daniel P. Love's investigation from defense in Cliven Bundy's case? BLM agent Daniel P. Love under fire by Bundy case attorney after Inspector General probe finds him guilty of misconduct. Informant Mark McConnell receives surprise Christmas gift from activist John Ritzheimer, and that's from the 25th of December 2016. I seriously think that from my point of view, from my perspective, from how things are, from what they are, I mean, you can just look. What are they? I can definitely tell you that it is from my perspective. Okay? I believe from my perspective that the federal government is out to destroy the Constitution of the United States of America. And when I say United States, let me be more specific. The United States of America Incorporated as of 1871 and the laws under the Act of 1871. I believe that the federal government is out to destroy the United States of America and turn it into a communist nation. I think that it's important that we understand that there are people behind the scenes, behind you and I, they're behind there pointing their intellectual 50 calibers at us. And if we get out of line, we're dead meat. Now, I want to, I want to end the debate right now, because I know people are debating, alternative media, they're not really they're not really media. They're just, I want to end this debate right now, okay? We are real media. We are real media. I don't want to hear it anymore. Debate is over. Now, when you look at the mainstream media, when you look at the propaganda that is out there, when you examine what is out there as far as who they are, what they are, how they attempt to spin their particular brand of propaganda, you see through the lies. You read between the lines. You know exactly what's going on. You know how they're using certain people as targets. Well, let me just bottom line it for you. I said all of that in the last 10 minutes to tell you this. Let me just bottom line it for you and give you my point. People like Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Mark Levin, Mark Dice, Alex Jones, myself, Brian Lang, Nick Tucker, Robert Bruce, all these people in the alternative, semi-alternative, I say semi, there's a reason for that, semi-alternative media are targeted by federal government, Washington, D.C., the United States of America Incorporated, because we are the ones that are getting it right. We are the ones that are breaking through their freaking firewalls and getting everything we need to show the American people just how corrupt, just how dangerous, just how, criminal these people truly are in Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, a lot of people would say, well, you can't do that because if you reveal what's going on, then you're going to tell the enemy across the world, that we are vulnerable and we're vulnerable to attack. Folks, no, to a point, no. I remember reading in history that the Roman Empire had a nasty fire in their city at one point. And it burned like half the city, if not almost all of it. 3/4 of it. Come to find out later on that it was the rulers of Rome that decided to burn their own city. They created what we now know as a false flag. In Germany, at the Reichstag, there we go, let's say it right, the Reichstag fire. It came out later on with declassified German documents and Russian documents and redacted declassified American documents that the German government started its own fire, dressing up Polish prisoners as German soldiers and pointing fingers, or I should say dressing up certain prisoners as the enemy. I don't know the specifics in that part of it, but they pointed fingers at Poland. Basically what it was is that Germany pointed their fingers at anybody that was conveniently in their way and told the German people that, look, these are the people that did it. We have to do something about it. The United States of America is no different. They stage practically everything that is sensationalized on the mainstream media. From the Murrah building in Oklahoma City to the Aurora, Colorado shooting in the theater to the Boston bombing and going back further than that, 9/11, 2001. We're dealing with a bunch of psychopaths in Washington, D.C., folks. Some are sociopaths with no inclination to destroy anything. They're the idea people. They're the concept people. They sit around making crap up to try to destroy the United States of America and tell the psychopaths, they give the psychopaths the blueprints for how it should be done, and these people go out and do it. When Cliven Bundy was on the Pete Santilli show several years ago in 2014, it was that weekend, and I remember listening to the show. It was that weekend that Pete Santilli came on and said he was in Bunkerville, Nevada, at the Bundy Ranch. And within a matter of days, if not weeks, more people showed up. Why? Because the federal government was out of control. Sheriff Gillespie told Cliven Bundy to his face that, I'll stand down. I'll tell my officers to stand down and we'll go home. That didn't happen. The BLM came in, Bureau of Land Management, who had ordered up a year before or so, had ordered up over, a few million rounds of ammunition for some reason. Why do they have guns? And they were there. And they were doing their thing. And it is found out that, yes, they killed cows. Yes, they were trying to run Cliven Bundy and his family off of the property. Why? Because the hit was put out on that family by none other than Senator Harry Reid. That came out later. Now, of course, people got all pissed off and said, BLM and all this. And it stirred up a lot of emotion. Why? Because it was the facts. It was the facts. The truth. Okay, this is what actually happened. So a couple of years later, we have Burns, Oregon. And of course, Pete Santilli was there. Traveled from Ohio and went to Oregon and was arrested. I don't believe he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was telling people what was going on. He was revealing what was behind the curtain, who was pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, and he got arrested for it. Okay? He's an independent journalist who got arrested for expressing himself under his First Amendment right of free press. He wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was exactly where he needed to be. But then you and I, if we were to do something like that, if we were to go out to the governor's office in your state and report from the governor's office all of the things that the governor was doing wrong and the bills he wasn't signing into law and all of the stuff that he was doing, we'd get arrested on the spot. Why? Same reason. Because the federal government does not want us to express what is happening in a truthful and factual manner. And the bottom line is we will continue to do so. We cannot and will not back down from the truth and the facts. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Okay? And we will be as brave and as courageous as we can to support those around us who want peace, freedom, liberty, and security. And we will continue to reveal who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, because that is our freedom to do so, and it is protected under the Bill of Rights. I was asked earlier today, why do we need a license to carry a gun if we have the Second Amendment? Good question. How about you answer that, governors of every single state in the United States of America? I'm going to say this. Every single governor, every single legislator, every single mayor, every single city council member, every single county board of supervisors who pushes for gun control in any way, shape, or form in whatever manner is in violation of the Second Amendment. And I am calling each and every one of you out. Now, either you can step up and be the leaders that you so chose to be and do the right thing constitutionally. And if you cannot do it, we will accept your resignation in the next 72 hours. I'm calling each and every single one of you out. I'm calling the governor, Brian, what is his name? I forgot his name. The governor of Nevada. For some reason, I forgot his name. I had it just earlier because I didn't write it down. Brian Sandoval. There we go. Thank you. I knew my brain would kick in soon enough. I want the governor of Nevada to know one thing. One thing only. Mr. Brian Sandoval, you are in violation of the rights of the people in Pahrump, Nevada. And don't sit there with your lawyer and legalese and sit there and say, well, I have to look at this and see, and investigate this on my own. No, Mr. Governor. Mr. Brian Sandoval, governor of Nevada, you need to step up and be a man. You need to tell the BLM, get the hell out of Nevada. You need to tell all of the lawyers to stand down. And you need to open the doors of the prison and let out those political prisoners now. That is what you need to do, Mr. Brian Sandoval. And if you cannot, then I'm sure the citizens of Nevada will accept your resignation within the next 72 hours. And if anybody knows how to get a hold of Mr. Brian Sandoval, you send him this message. I used to live in Nevada. It used to be a great state. It used to be wonderful. It used to be fantastic. And all of a sudden, certain things began to happen out of Carson City, Nevada. I remember walking into the Capitol building and walking right up to your door of your office, Mr. Brian Sandoval. You happen to have been away that day. But if your Capitol building is that unsecure, no telling what could happen within the next week. I'm not calling for anyone to surround the building. No, that's just not what we need to do. I'm not calling for anybody to rush into the office. No, don't do that. I'm asking people to use common sense and to break down everything and investigate everything legally and within their capacity to do so. But I'm also demanding action from Governor Brian Sandoval to open the gates of the prison and to fire each and every single one of those people in there and release these political people, political prisoners. And you need to kick the Bureau of Land Management out of your state. If you're a man. And from what I hear, you're not too much of one. This message goes out to Brian Sandoval, governor of Nevada. I'll be back right after this. American Liberty Radio Network is the network's website at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. You can go to thetruthexperience.weebly.com for more information. Smashing through the lies of the mainstream media, tearing down the walls of misinformation.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Shattering the foundations of the new world order.
To bring China into the creation of a new world order.
The truth. The facts. No bullshit.
In this new world, Such dangerous currents have swept along faster than our efforts to contain them. And that is why we cannot afford to be divided.
The American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
For more information, go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com or email them at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. American Liberty Radio Network. Listener-supported online patriotic radio. With the new year upon us, the truth will be seen as fake news, and the lies from the propagandists of the mainstream media will forever be in the minds of those who have been indoctrinated with their disinformation. Your support of alternative and independent media is vitally important to the continuance of our freedom of speech and expression. It is very crucial that you consider supporting other media options. American Liberty Radio Network is supported by listeners. If you are a local business, consider supporting independent online patriotic radio with your advertising dollars as well. There are two options for you. One, you could advertise your product or service with us, or you can donate to the network. Consider contributing to independent media today. Consider American Liberty Radio Network. Contact us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com or go to our website at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Create your own podcast. Spreaker has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcasts or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload your files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is The Truth Experience right here on the 8th of May 2017. TheTruthExperience.weebly.com is the website to go to. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, please go to thetruthexperience.weebly.com and go to the sponsors page. It's all right there. All the information you need is right there, folks. It's amazing to me, and I'm not too easily surprised, but it is amazing to me that people will always criticize other people, no matter what it is. But I find that within their criticism, they're mostly hypocritical. Mostly hypocritical. The ACLU is the most hypocritical place on the planet. Travel ban, quote unquote, could be constitutional if enacted by Hillary. Leftist group proves its bias. Well, let's take a look at that. This is from NT Network. NTNetwork.com. ACLU lawyer Omar Jadwat, arguing against President Trump's travel ban before the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on Monday, admitted that the same exact travel ban, quote unquote, could be constitutional if it were enacted by Hillary Clinton. Jadwat argued that Trump's campaign animus motivated the order, making it illegitimate. This claim was challenged by the Fourth Circuit's Judge Paul Niemeyer. Quote, if a different candidate had won the election and then used the issued this order, I gather you wouldn't have any problem with that. I'll let you read the rest of that. It says read more, but I'll let you read the rest of that. Do you see the hypocrisy on the far left? Do you know about the hypocrisy on the far left? That's a better question. Do you understand it? Obama urges members of Congress to have, quote unquote, courage to save Obamacare. Former president desperate to preserve lawless legacy. We're not even going to get into that. I don't even want to touch that. The secret court used to justify government spying. Learn how the FISA court is used to subvert the Constitution. There we go. You want to talk about hypocritical? Let's talk hypocritical courts. The Alex Jones Show, 5th of May, 2017. It is a video, folks. The FISA court is an unconstitutional court used to justify surveillance of the American people. Movie, Michael Douglas, The Star Chamber. I'm just putting it out there, folks. Just putting it out there. How much you want to make a bet that there's orders from the FISA court, the illegal FISA court, going out to the Bureau of Land Management? I'm just putting it out there, folks. You guys need to figure this stuff out on your own as well. You need to investigate it. I don't think I've overlooked anything, but if I have, please let me know. Groups seek to use anti-regulatory tool to undo Obama-era land restrictions. Constitutional Review Act of 1996 could be used to free up millions of acres in the West. Well, it's about damn time. They should have done that under Obama. Kevin Mooney, freebeacon.com, a rarely used but potent anti-regulatory tool, could be used to undo land use restrictions the Obama administration imposed on more than 72 million acres of Western lands, according to attorneys and public policy analysis. Kevin Mooney, Free Beacon, 8th of May, 2017. I'm going to put that up on the Truth Experience on Facebook. I'm going to have more live shows, folks. More than just once a week. So keep your eyes out. New York Times surprised to learn legal immigrants oppose sanctuary laws. The New York Times runs headline titled, quote, Sanctuary bills in Maryland faced a surprise foe, legal immigrants, unquote. Well, there you go, folks. There you go. Alex Griswold, Washington freebeacon.com. Freebeacon.com, basically. The New York Times reported Monday that a sanctuary bill in the liberal Maryland county faced surprise opposition from the county's legal immigration community. Quote, sanctuary bills in Maryland faced a surprise foe, legal immigrants, unquote, the Monday headline read. The Times' Sabrina Tavernese, there we go, reported on a sanctuary bill that was shot down in Howard County, where 1 in 5 residents were born outside the country, and Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. The legislation would have made Howard County sanctuary for illegal immigrants, requiring the jurisdiction to not fully cooperate with federal immigration officials. It turns out the county's legal immigrants were not too keen on having an influx of illegal immigrants, arguing that, quote, offering sanctuary to people who came to the country illegally devalued their own past struggles to gain citizenship, unquote. The Times spoke to 4 legal residents who explained why they were opposed to the measure. This is going up on the Truth Experience on Facebook. There's a lot going on, folks. There's a lot going on. There's a ton of stuff going on. I cannot even begin to tell you how much of this stuff affects you on a daily basis. I can't. I mean, just there's... Let's find out what's going on at RT.com for a moment. South Koreans go to the polls to replace impeached president. Yeah, they impeached their president. FBI investigates Bernie Sanders' wife for bank fraud. Paris police evacuate and sweep Europe's busiest train stations. No evidence. This is in quotes. No evidence Russia influencing voter tallies in 50 states. U.S. ex-Intel chief said that. So let's find out what that's all about, shall we? Because the headline's pretty vague to me. Jonathan Ernst. While testifying before a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on alleged Russian interference in 2016 campaign, ex-National Intelligence Director James Clapper said he doesn't have any evidence that shows Moscow influenced voter tallies in Election Day. The Senate Judiciary Committee is investigating alleged Russian meddling in 2016 U.S. presidential election. Clapper appeared with former acting Attorney General Sally Yates. The highly anticipated hearing was expected to fill in key details in the chain of events that led to the ouster of General Michael Flynn, President Donald Trump's first national security advisor during the administration's first month in office. I'm going to let you folks check that one out. The Truth Experience on Facebook. So much is going on, folks. You cannot... I mean, this is all... I'm going to tell you this right now. On the surface, this is what's happening. Beside that, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. Besides that, there's a lot of fires trying to be put out. Aside of that, we know who's starting the fires. We know who's starting these political fires. Okay? We know this. There's just, I mean, I don't... I don't know what else to tell you. We know exactly what's going on. We know exactly how things are being played out. We know Who has lit the match to set these political fires? There's no question about it. Yates admit political angle to defying Trump executive order, says it wouldn't be upheld by any reasonable court. It has been. GOP smackdown, quote, who appointed you to the Supreme Court? Well, let's go check that out, shall we? Almost sound like John Wayne. Former acting, this is from Joel B. Pollack over at Breitbart.com, 8th of May 2017. Former acting Attorney General Sally Yates, testifying in the Senate on Monday, attempted to defend her decision to defy President Donald Trump's executive order suspending travel from several terror-prone countries in January. Yates told the Senate Judiciary Committee that her decision was made, quote, not purely as a policy matter, unquote, but suggested that she had been guided by, quote, statements, unquote, that were made, quote, contemporaneously or prior, unquote, to the order. She did not specify which statements she meant, but several of the judges who have blocked the executive order and its less ambitious successor have referred to statements made by Trump on the campaign trail about a, quote, Muslim ban, unquote. Under questioning, Yates admitted that, quote, people of goodwill can make different decisions about this, unquote, having just argued moments before that the conclusion of the Department of Justice's Office of Legal Counsel was so wrong that it had to be overruled. Yeah, there you go. The Truth Experience on Facebook. Check the rest of that one out. I said we know who set these political fires. I can tell you exactly who. And I can tell you exactly who funded those people to set these political fires. People like George Soros and his companies, the people like the Rockefellers and their holdings and their companies, the people like the Rothschilds in Europe, their holdings. Look what's happening with the Brexit issue. I know that the mainstream media is bought and paid for by these people, so therefore there's part of it. But overall, folks, the top of the top of the ladder on that, the top of the heap of this crumbling society are people safely tucked away within their compounds all over the world, and that is the Illuminati. I don't want to hear any more, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. You lost me now. No, folks. You go do the research. Nick Tucker over at Distorted Reality and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook has looked into this, has examined each and every one of these people that I just mentioned. And guess what? All roads lead back to Rome. All roads lead to the Illuminati, folks. Now here's something else from Breitbart. From Ian Mason, 8th of May 2017, ICE announces crackdown on congressional interference with deportations. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced a new policy to pare back congressional leaders' ability to delay removals of illegal aliens, according to a letter obtained Monday by Breitbart News. Stays of removal are frequently used or issued to aliens otherwise slated for deportation when members of Congress introduce, quote-unquote, private bills, check into that one, folks, to individually grant those aliens permanent legal status. While these bills rarely come to a vote and are even more rarely passed, ICE previously granted aliens stays of removal as a matter of course while the bills are formally under consideration. In other words, we've got a bill. Here it is. Okay. A policy that can allow otherwise removal of persons to remain in the United States for months, if not years. In other words, the politicians are saying, look, here it is. I don't do anything right now. I got a bill going through here, and maybe we can fix this. No, basically what it is hold on to them. I've got this bill going through, and it's not going to go anywhere, but until it's get passed and we can deal with this, they can stay here. Yeah, I know it's confusing, folks. I'm sorry. It's confusing. Liberal members of Congress like Representative Jared Polis, Democrat of Colorado, Senator Dianne Feinstein, obviously Democrat of California, and Senator Michael Bennet, Democrat of Colorado, have resorted to introducing these bills to prevent deportation when the regular administration process is exhausted. How is it exhausted, really? In light of President Donald Trump's executive order to place new emphasis on the deportation of aliens convicted of crimes, ICE has reevaluated this policy, according to the letter sent to congressional leaders Friday. From now on, stays of removal will only be issued when specially requested by the chairs of the House and Senate Judiciary Committee or the relevant subcommittees. In the current Congress, all these posts are held by Republicans. Even when specifically requested, stays will now be granted only once for no more than 6 months, with the potential for a 90-day extension at the discretion of the director of ICE, currently acting Director Thomas Homan. Stays will also be eligible for revocation, there we go, if I say it correctly, if ICE discovers damning information that aliens slated for removal after a stay is issued. Yeah, big sigh, because you're beginning to see the pieces of this puzzle. You're beginning to, let me just use another metaphor. You're beginning to see the ice break. Okay? No pun intended. There's just so much, folks, that's going on. So much. That when you examine everything, when you look at every single thing that there is in the United States of America and how damning it is to the American people, how destructive it is to the American people, you're beginning to see just how bad things truly are. But you see, we the people are a resilient people. We the people can stand up and say enough's enough. But who here in the United States of America, who here in the United States of America can stand up and say, hey, I've got a backbone, I'm going to take care of this? Who here in the United States can do that? Huh? Really? Who here can do that? Oh, believe me, I'm hearing things on the fringes where people are coming together and they're actually waiting for the federal government to, for lack of a better phrase, pull the trigger. And I can tell you that all hell is going to be let loose if the government decides to do what I think they should not do, but they're going to do. It really is a waiting game at this point from what I can see. I can just imagine I can just imagine what goes on. But let me remind you of something, folks. Western Europe has fallen. Western Europe has fallen. Western Europe has fallen. Now, a lot of people would say, well, Macron is better than Le Pen. No, Macron is a sympathizer for Muslims. He's an open border. He's a globalist, folks. That's what he is. He is nothing more than a criminal of humanity with crimes against humanity. And I'm not saying that lightly. I want you to go look at this whole process of how he got into this office. And let me remind you of history, what it was like in the room when Nazi Germany finally surrendered in World War II in Europe. There's pictures, folks. I'm going to put that up on The Truth Experience on Facebook. There's always going to be contention. There is always going to be someone who's going to engage in conflict. Okay? Always, always, always going to be someone engaging in conflict. Okay? I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. I don't care how long you've been doing what you do. There is always going to be conflict. Why? Because your neighbor is never going to agree with you all the time. If ever. Okay? You can tell somebody the truth with facts to back it up. You can tell somebody the truth. You can have the facts staring them in the face, and they're going to look at you and call you a liar. They're going to look at you and disagree with you. They're going to look at you and try to shout you down. They're going to look at you and try to push you away. They're going to say, talk to the hand, and walk away, because they don't want your facts, your truth, that truth that you're sharing with them. They don't want it ruining their day. You don't want to ruin their day. That's what they're saying. Don't ruin my day. I don't want to. No, folks. You need to get up in their face and you need to ruin their day completely. You need to up in their day. You need to get up in their face and tell them, I don't give one rip what you think. This is what the truth is, and you can go and look this up. That's if you are so inclined to do so. But these people who are in constant conflict with everybody need a swift kick in the ass. Figuratively speaking, let's not go out and just start pounding heads. But these people really need to see what's going on. And if they're going to be that blind, then their ability to see the truth and the facts for what it is completely gone. And the indoctrination of the left has completely taken over. And that's just the way it is, folks. That's just the way it is. We need to remember that. We can't feel sorry for these people because they don't feel sorry for themselves. And folks, that's the truth right there. I'm out of here, folks. This is The Truth Experience, thetruthexperience.weebly.com, right here on American Liberty Radio Network. Go to thetruthexperience.com. This is American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.